Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Group Chat. We have a very, very special guest. I'll give you a hint. No clue who it is. So we have a guest.
And we talked for 45 minutes.
For 45 minutes. One of the best conversations we've had on this podcast. Lots of insight into the lives and the world of venture capital and investors, investing.
Yeah.
No clue who he is.
And by the way, it's obviously insightful. There's a lot of insightful conversation, but hysterical.
Really?
You would not believe the hottest category to invest in.
Oh my gosh. We figured it. We found it out.
Yeah.
We cracked the code.
The one thing that you can add into your business plan to instantly 20x your investment.
So think about what you're working on right now and just add this and you'll be a trillionaire.
We have the hottest advice on this one.
Yes.
So spoiler alert, it is the man behind Praying for Exits, the Instagram account that we all follow and love. And
as we respectively call Mr. Exit.
Mr. Exits, because, this is a business. We're talking business.
Arguably one of the most important accounts in technology.
Wow.
I would agree. But he is completely anonymous. We truly have no idea who it is. He uses a voice changer whenever we speak. And anytime we communicate about potentially coming on the podcast, it's all through DM. So man of mystery, Mr. Exits joins us today. That, and then we talk about some news and close out with a really good story about Dee and just what it's like to be a father.
Yeah.
And just a guy in his early 40s just trying to get around in the city.
Just schlepping around.
All right.
Literally stuck.
Let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back with a repeat guest.
Yeah.
And it's the only guest that we've had on this show, not only twice, but even once. We have no fucking idea who it is. Mr. Exits, welcome back to Group Chat.
Such a great pleasure to be back and lovely to hear from you guys again. How's everything going?
So you were absent for a few weeks on social media.
Yeah, it went dark.
Would you were in Mykonos? Where were you?
No, the exits were actually working, so I had some real job shit I actually had to do.
The prayers paid off.
Oh yeah, so you didn't have to pray anymore.
So you're praying or you were exiting?
Yeah, he was doing more praying, more exiting, less praying.
A little bit of both, to be honest.
So, we're obviously very excited to have you on. We have a bunch of questions, but maybe if you'd like to kick it off with some updates in Mr. Exit's life. What are you seeing right now that, our listeners are just curious about this industry, right? They're curious about technology, venture investing, and all the cool things that you've been talking about. But where do you think we should kick it off?
I mean, I think we can kick it off with a general sort of roundup on what the landscape is like right now, which is generally that everybody's just getting rich as fuck, no matter if you're a good investor, bad investor, so long as you kind of have skin in the game. It seems like every single person is boat bound. And so, I'm pretty happy about that, but also it kind of presents a little bit of an interesting sort of inflection point to the industry, because now we see, TikTokers and everybody else trying to get a piece, and they're probably going to make some good money, but it's just a little bit, maybe not disconcerting, but interesting to say the least.
So do you believe this party never ends? It just goes on forever. More dumb people keep getting rich, and it's just, can we get them involved? That's the goal here.
Or other side, does it absolutely crater and TikTokers are wiped out, DJs are wiped out, everyone's just depressed?
Can I shot at the Chainsmokers?
Can I jump in before Mr. Exit?
Please.
I don't think it ever ends.
You really?
I think it's such an obvious trade. Technology in the next 10 years is going to be multiples of what it was the last 10 years. Yeah. So you're going to see the Chainsmokers, who we were talking about right before the podcast.
They're big investors.
Now they're in everything.
Okay.
So chain smokers will be billionaires.
Chain smokers, don't they make like 50 million a year? Probably.
Sure, but that's
Do you
not a
think-
billion.
That's
And
not a
there's
billion.
two of them.
You can't 20x?
You know what's cool? $1 billion.
What do you think? What do you think, Mr. Exit?
I'm going to have to side with Anand on that, just because I think it all really depends where you play in the ecosystem. I think if you're playing early stage and even late stage, the Tiger Globals, the Cotus, the Dragoneers of the world, I think you're pretty much set. I think it's the hedge funds and the retail investor that most likely get screwed over, because for a lot of people, if you're investing in the early stage and you hit a 20x, by the time you go public, even if you drop 50%, in the public market, you're still up 10x. And so I think I think that's why you see all these people playing kind of like an earlier stage. I think the later you go, the return profile starts to look a lot worse. And then you get to sort of the public market investing, and the return profiles look the most compressed and look the worst of all. So I think that, where we play in my industry, you'll probably be fine. But I think that there's going to be bag holders left somewhere eventually.
So retail schmucks are fucked, because what I've noticed, and this is just me eyeballing IPOs, they have not performed well. I could list off so many IPOs that look like they're either at or below what they got priced at.
Totally.
Does that sound accurate?
That does sound accurate, but it kind of reinforces my point that if you played early and the IPO doesn't pop, the only people that are really fucked over are investment bankers in some instances, which is kind of nice, and then the retail investor, which is a lot less nice.
So these TikTokers are going to get rich.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
how
they
are
have
the
a
TikTokers
$15 million. The ones that I'm talking about, I believe, have a $15 million fund. They'll probably turn it into maybe 30 to 50. I don't think that they're going to be like astronomic, but they'll get some cash back, I'm sure.
Wait, I didn't know that's a thing. There's actually TikTokers investing. I know the chain smokers.
Is this
Yeah,
Michael
no, it's
Gruen?
called
Who's
the
the-
Animal
who's the-
Fund. It's like Bryce Hall, and I couldn't even name the other two, but it's three people that look exactly the same, investing out of a $15 million fund.
Yeah, it's easy 3x.
And God, they may fluke in and get one big one.
Yeah.
So in terms of the landscape, obviously things are hotter than ever. We hear about seed stage deals, and I don't know if you're in that early. What valuation are you hearing that some of these seed stage deals are going at? Because we've heard some numbers. I haven't participated. I don't think Anand's participated in anything, but we hear some pretty crazy valuations.
I mean, I've seen some seed stage deals pushing 9 figures post money valuation.
Is
that pre-product or post-product? Revenue, obviously zero revenue. But is
Zero
it pre-product
revenue
or post?
and maybe middle product, like not necessarily the finalized product, but we're in the right direction.
There was a YC deal I got introduced to this past week. They don't have a product. There are 3.
There's no founder.
There's no deal. Just someone wants 100 million.
There's 3 kids who dropped out of Harvard, I think either freshman or sophomore year.
That's worth 50
That's
million.
it. Yeah,
And
that's 50.
15. And I was like, sounds cheap.
Yeah.
I might have to do this.
Yeah, if you're getting anything Y Combinator related under 50, you might as well consider that a discount.
And it was pre-demo day.
Was it $15 million or 15 years old?
15 million
15,
posts.
they were planning to drop out of Harvard one day.
And I think demo day, I don't know, Mr. Exit, is it this week or next week? And they were basically like, hey, if you want to get in before demo day, and there's no guarantee there's a product at demo day.
Yeah, but that's the new hustle, right? Is like if you, I know that like there are certain large institutionalized funds that I won't name here, but they do like the whole, hey, let me check your deck and your presentation out for pre demo day, and then if we like it, we'll just throw a couple bucks in before demo day and get marked up next week, basically. So that's been the hustle for years now, if you have the connection.
That's unbelievable.
Can you tell me, like, I believe, Mr. Exit, that you're kind of out and about. You've said that you've seen us a few times, in places like Miami and stuff like that. Anand and Dee told a really crazy story about when they went to Vegas, just seeing like all the money and seeing like a different type of crowd than usual and just chains and diamonds and all the crazy stuff. Is there anything that you've seen that's been like the epitome of how ridiculous things have gotten? Has anything really caught your eye?
I've been on at least 4 to 5 Zooms this week with people in Positano, Greece, random South American countries. It doesn't seem like a single person is at home, from what I can tell.
And were they on boats?
There was definitely a lot of aquatics involved. I don't know if everyone was on boats, but there was for sure.
Aquatic.
2 of the guys were swimming while taking this.
So I have an idea.
I've heard a great story. Someone, a close friend of ours who we all know, was on a Zoom with P. Diddy during the pandemic, and he was on a jet ski. Have we gotten there?
On the Zoom.
On the Zoom. With phone and one arm.
On the accelerator.
The best that I've seen so far is a guy in the back of his Maybach, and it was just an hour of him driving through like a very posh part of London in the back of his Maybach on video chat.
Oh my gosh. This is so wild.
So given all the people you work with and what you're seeing in the industry, this is not stopping anytime soon. This is just what if we're calling 9-inning. This is a 9-inning game, and just assume after the 9th inning, this is just an explosion. 4th inning. Oh my God!
Say we're at batting practice. Like Drama's getting ready to throw out the first pitch.
That's how you feel.
I mean, the only reason that I would say we're at 4 is because it's starting to like seep into the public consciousness. The fact that, these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids even give a fuck. When I was 18, 19, 20, I can certainly say that venture capital was pretty much the last thing on my mind. And so I think what you're starting to see is it become like an asset class that's a little bit more approachable, which is the only reason I say that is for. But I think that the more general trend of things is that you have all of these later stage funds raising astronomically large amounts of money in the billions and billions of dollars, and they need somewhere to deploy that. And if they can't do it late stage, they're going to creep earlier and earlier and earlier. And so, yeah, I really don't see this sort of musical chair stopping anytime soon.
What industry specifically are you seeing the craziest valuation in action?
Oh my God, space. Of course, space.
Space? Like which part? Like
anything.
Actual going or just that?
You make the little ice cream?
Anything related to
$1
space. Like you could literally just throw space on something extremely land-based, and I'm sure you would get a great valuation.
So you basically need space, AI.
I think we're with space.
I think it's space because there's just literally like, if you were to ask me what's the total addressable market of space, what is it?
That's an absolute fantastic point. Yeah, because you could have $20 trillion companies.
You don't know what else is out there.
You just keep throwing on planets, and that's an extra couple trillion every planet.
Oh my God. That is incredible. That's a sign of the times. Like, I got the whole solar system.
Yeah.
And we have a potential, we're doing some R&D on the next one over.
Like, you could be starting like, I'm selling food, but in space.
Yeah, anything. Just say anything but in space.
The
Amazon for
this
space.
Is crazy, but I recently saw space insurance, and what they're insuring, I have no idea, but they're insuring things in space apparently.
Would you, Mr. Exit, I've actually thought this for a while, but I don't think Silicon Valley, the show on HBO, went far enough because they wanted to be a parody.
Yeah.
And I think it's a way bigger parody in real life than it is in the show.
I agree. Silicon Valley seems realistic given what some of the things I've seen in the last 6 months.
Silicon Valley is like a TikTok house at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing compared to the real deal.
So if space is number 1, what's number 2?
Last mile delivered, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least that's more relatable.
At least
At least
we're here on
that's
Earth.
practical. That's at least
down to earth.
I want my package.
Funnily enough, so.
I want my package a little quicker. I can relate to that.
I want to do I want to do like the DoorDash of space. How much can I get for that?
Like you're in space, like,
and you want a snack.
Last mile
Bezos in his
delivery.
10 minutes in space, he just wanted a quick snack.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the last-
I'll head over. I have a distribution center on Jupiter. Quick flight.
I'm going to do last 10,000 miles.
Yeah. That's good. Last 10,000 light years.
I bet you could do 10 on 50 if you put
50
together.
trillion if you add space into it.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Exit? Because if I was probably the majority of our listener, I probably would have just listened to the last 12 minutes and been super pissed, right? Because I'm like, oh, really? Everyone's making so much money. It's just flying around. How do I get my hands on it? Is there anything that your average person trying to get in the game can do to take advantage of this insanity? Okay, so we lost you right at that part after like joining some sort of syndicate or that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most like approachable and sensible way for people to participate right now. And then I guess, yeah, like I think there still is value to be found in public markets. You can look at things like Square. You can look at things. There's a ton of examples where things have performed quite well in the public market. But I do think that if people want to participate in kind of like this earlier stage landscape, it's better to leave it to the professionals.
Yeah, because Mr. Exit, I have a strong view on this, and I'm curious if you agree. Because I've been doing venture for over 10 years now, and when you do get wins, everyone asks, like, can you let me in the next deal? Can you let me in the next deal? And my view is, unless you're willing to wait 10 years, do 60 deals of early stage, you're just going to get smoked. It's impossible to pick the 1,000Xer, the 1,500Xer, and most people aren't built for that. They aren't built for losing their first $500,000, just lighting it on fire in hopes of like maybe one of them is this outsized return. And I think we're joking like the money's real, meaning people are getting rich as fuck. Mm-hmm. These boats are real. They are in Positano. They are in Greece. They are doing this. But it's a long game and it's a volume game. And unless you start with the large portion of capital, it takes a lot of endurance. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I would echo those thoughts 100%. I mean, I can provide some personal context. I've been investing in venture for close to 10 years, not exactly 10 years, but close to 10 years. And I would say of money that I've lost outright, like not net, but just companies that have crashed and imploded, I must have burned at least 25, 30, $40 million in companies that went nowhere. But, you know, when you play the venture game, you know that one or two wins make all that up. And I'm just starting to get to the point where that's the case. But it's been something that I've had to be very patient about, and not something that, you know, getting rich quick in venture is like a misnomer unless you're investing alongside Tiger and you get to get out within, you know, a couple weeks. But other than that, like if you're investing early stage, it's a game of patience as much as anything else.
I also think the other thing we're not talking about is there's not only one way to get involved with this money train. You can also go work at these companies.
Right.
And participate in equity and hopefully...
But then you only get one bet.
No, but that's an incredible point. And my perspective on that, and when people come to me and tell me like, hey, I'm 23 years old, I just graduated college, what should I do? My general perception is like, hey, go work at 2 startups, 3 years each. You should have vested a large majority of your shares and just hope that one of them goes public and you'll be set for a very long time if that's the case. And so that is another way to participate. Is tech in general as an ecosystem is hiring more than almost any other industry right now, unless you're like AMC or like some other movie chain that needs like menial labor. But like for high skilled paying jobs, tech is hiring very aggressively and will continue to for the next 10 years. And so my personal advice to people who are looking to like break into the ecosystem is go work at 2 companies, get 2 sets of different equity that you vested into, just pray for an exit. And if it does happen, you'll be able to like insert yourself in a much more real way for sure.
Yeah, that's great advice, like collecting equity along the way. One of my best friends was the number 2 at Postmates. And while he was working there, he had hired some ex-Square employees, and they were significantly junior to him. And they had houses in Napa, Aspen, New York. Like, he's like, they were so rich because they just collected Square equity early. Company went public, company went on fire. And I was like, why are they working? And he's like, I think they're just bored. Yeah. They have to do something.
They're trying to get to the next B.
Well, they don't have a boat.
Yeah, they don't have a boat.
There's always the next
They're
thing.
not floating around yet.
They're not taking Zooms on a jet ski.
That's a good point.
Still plenty more to accomplish.
So the other question I have for you is, has having this meme account got you into any deals?
Yeah, actually, I'm just doing my first deal through the account right now, which, interestingly enough, is a space-related deal. So,
Is there a point where you have to drop the curtain and be like, all right, here's who I am? I mean, obviously you can't anonymously. How do you deal with that part?
You 100% can. The beauty of Wyoming limited liability companies is such that nobody has to know who you are.
Imagine, that's so sick. Imagine you're praying for exits invested in my business. No idea who he is. Here's the account. He loves space.
So are you actively looking to continue to build that? Because do you feel, and this being serious, the fact that you've built this kind of, it is a cult following on your social media page, that you may have started as for fun, but now it has it's kind of in the zeitgeist of the investing world, and it should turn into some sort of business opportunity, I assume.
And to add to that, the most senior people in technology follow this page.
Yeah.
The biggest hitters all follow Praying for Exits. And they all talk about it.
Yeah.
It comes up all the time with pretty big shots in the game.
That's incredible.
I have a close friend who's was convinced our friend Anthony Saleh, was behind the page because he kept shitting on his deals. And he's like, why do you keep shitting on my deals?
Did he ask him that?
Yes.
And Anthony was like, what?
He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's incredible.
And the page has been much friendlier to the deals based on their exits. It's Green Oaks. It's Neil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have shown a lot of love, Mr. Exit, to Green Oaks.
Yeah, I respect Green Oaks a lot. They burst onto the scene and have sort of swung their dick around in a real way. So good for them.
That's a good statement. That's a good statement about Green Oaks.
They're definitely swinging their dick around.
What was your original question, Dee?
My original question is do you see this meme account becoming a force in venture investing in your actual business?
Yeah, so right now I've moved away from sort of the seed and pre-seed side of things. So in my actual work, I don't really do that anymore. And so I think, I know what the sort of next iteration of the page is it's going to be become a pre-seed and seed stage fund, where I'm going to write sort of $50,000 to $250,000 checks into companies that I find interesting and that I mostly source through the page.
It's an incredible name for a seed and pre-seed stage fund.
Because you're really throwing a dart.
Absolutely.
And I see you mentioned the all-in guys that you guys have had some conversations. Are they hot on your toes? They want to get involved in the Praying for Exits world?
Yeah, I think I've been talking to Jason Calacanis back and forth, and I think that there might be a Mr. Exits appearance on All In soon enough.
Wow.
That's big.
Nice. Yeah.
That's right.
It makes sense.
Alley, yeah.
It's the perfect platform.
Yeah.
But obviously you'd rather hang out with us than those guys. No offense, guys.
True.
Well, I don't know. I see where they're all podcasting
Sax's
from.
boat looked pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boat's one thing. What's happening inside the boat also matters.
All boats do matter.
They're doing the equivalent. They're podcasting on Zoom, each from a boat, and they're
yeah.
meet me at my wine garden later.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
What about, are you seeing anything super of interest or just ridiculous in the world of crypto, NFTs, that stuff? That seems pretty insane as well.
Yeah, I have never felt so old in my life looking at this NFT world. I get it conceptually. I just can't bring myself to turn American dollars into NFTs yet. But I think there will be a point that I do get there. I'm obviously have a decent amount of exposure to crypto as an LP in some crypto hedge funds, and I don't really hold too much myself. But I think that I'm starting to see where money laundering is moving to, and it's pretty interesting. It's not so much regular art anymore. We're just buying pixels.
What's another hot money laundering scheme right now that, some of our rich listeners can take advantage of?
Yeah.
Dee, I was talking to you about the nice tax write-offs you can get on yachts.
Yeah, what is that about? Tell us that.
So not that I suggest that anybody do this and consult your CPA, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a way that you can structure your boat to be a second home, quote unquote. and take advantage of writing off mortgage, and then also being able to depreciate it.
Isn't there a story of there's a investor, he's like the homeless billionaire, and he lives on a yacht and he does a lot of tech?
I know David
Yeah.
Geffen does that, but I'm sure there are other people too.
Right.
David Geffen's like address is his boat. Primary address.
Tahitian son. What?
That's incredible. I also saw in your last post you were making fun of common projects, which great for me because we have a shoe that competes with them at a fifth of the price with New Republic. What can you elaborate on it because it's pretty funny?
Yeah, I think like they're just the 2021 Allbirds. People are a little richer now, so they don't have to spend 120 on like whatever fabric that is. They can go up, bump it up to leather. But I'm just like, I see so much of it that it's like, I would just love a little bit of individuality in venture capital would be nice.
What is the uniform for venture capital right now? Because obviously I'm not in that
question.
physical world, so I don't see these people except on Zoom. What is it like if I pulled up to
Snorkel.
I mean, it depends on what, are we talking partners? Are we talking associates? What are we talking?
Let's start with associates.
They're getting a little bit more drippy for sure. I think it's usually like some sort of like sneaker that's not necessarily 100% on the culture, but maybe like 60% tangentially, like some random off Nike. And then you got some Lululemon pants, and then maybe like a breathable polo.
Breathable polo. That's unbelievable. Okay, and what's the partner doing?
Swim trunks, shirt off.
Yeah, if you're not in an aquatic themed, you're a terrible partner.
Yeah.
Are partners looking a little healthier these days? Because from what I recall, they weren't like the fittest guys.
I wouldn't say fit, but I'm sure if you looked at all their biological ages, they're shooting down rapidly.
Their telomeres.
Telomeres getting long.
And have you spent time in Europe this summer?
I have not. I have not. I've been keeping it mostly North, South America.
Oh, South America. Interesting. No, because I was curious because of the inflation and how much tech money, and they all fled to Europe in the summer. Are prices just through the roof?
I can give you some insight.
Let's hear it.
All the major hotels in Greece are booked out until mid-September. Same for Positano. And I hear boat charters are 25 to 35% higher than they were last year.
It's in line. Should be more.
Should be more. It should be 5x. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Delta? Is that affecting anything in venture? Or it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll slow down the pace of money going into these companies. But I'm sure anybody who was investing last year can sort of corroborate this. But it was a tough time if you were a venture investor last year, especially from I'd say March to July, August. Like there was a lot of sort of dark days, and there was a lot of you had to really pick and choose like the ones that you thought were going to survive and the ones that you weren't, and like really help and nurture them. And I think that we might get back to a place where companies have a little less sure footing as far as like the economy goes. But overall, I don't think the pace of investing, people have too much money on their books that they need to get off. So I don't think that putting money into companies stops. I think that just like how good these companies overall look might change as these new variants start to take place.
What about the lifestyle? Like, are you seeing, are most people vaxxed? Has anyone seen a mask in months? Like, what's the general fear level?
Fear level is low unless you still live in San Francisco, which I don't know why you would, but everywhere else seems to be pretty acceptable. And I think, what's interesting is I actually was at dinner with a group of VCs maybe last week. And we were sitting outside in New York City, and there was 5 of us. 4 people had breakthrough cases through the vaccine, and I was the only one that the vaccine actually worked for.
Wow. And is this Miami Tech thing over? I don't see the buzz anymore on social media.
They're in Europe.
Yeah, well, everyone realized what a Miami summer is like, so they're probably a little bit quieter about it. But there are some really interesting companies being built down there, and big respects to Founders Fund because they're actually like incubating and creating companies out there and not just investing. So there are some people who are really planting their flag and making themselves known down there. But I think that the like general narrative that everybody needs to move here or you're missing out is kind of going away.
I even feel Mayor Suarez's team has kind of lost a little luster.
Mayor Suarez is cool. I've talked to Mayor Suarez a few times. I think he kind of got blinded by the lights of like becoming relevant and maybe like dipped his toe a little too far in. But I think that he's doing a better job than a lot of other mayors in a lot of other places. So you can't really, talk shit on him too much.
What is, we'll go late stage. What are like a few of the hottest late stage companies right now that everyone's clamoring for?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in like that last mile delivery space. I know Pfaff and like Rappi just raised huge rounds, and those are kind of like last mile deliveries in Colombia and then out here in the US. I know a lot of people are trying to like roll up Shopify stores, and I think Keith Rebois is in the process of like rolling up a bunch of Shopify stores and creating like an Amazon marketplace of like Shopify stuff. Obviously, all of the marketplaces around crypto and NFT have been going crazy. OpenSea, Rarible, etc. I mean, like you just pick literally an industry. There's 5 companies that have just raised over $1 billion.
That's crazy.
Discord, Reddit. They just raised monster rounds.
Discord, Reddit, Gusto.
Oh, Gusto, huh? I didn't see that.
Okay.
All right.
How do we feel? We got the download?
I know. What else is going on at Exit?
Anything else we feel like we're missing? Anything else that's like a big, really buzzing, really something that a lot of people are talking about that we're maybe blind to?
Like what's happening in your DMs?
Oh, my DMs are disgusting right now, but not in a good way. It's just mostly people who are like, I think one thing that does seem to be like a pervasive thing is a lot of people seem to be sort of lost in their own lives and kind of looking at this massive amount of wealth being created in technology and kind of looking from the outside in and feeling like disconnected or left behind or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, I mean, like, I just want to, a lot of this is fun and games and like me just kind of shooting the shit, but I do like want people to know that I am very conscious of like what most people's year was like last year. And I don't really take it lightly. And, I've had to, shut down companies, fire people, et cetera. So I've like been in the sort of that side of things too. And I just, I think that I want to become more of what I do with like my Ask Me Anythings and stuff is I just want to try and become more of a resource to make these things seem more accessible to people, just because I don't necessarily feel like it's fair. I'm where I'm at or other people are where they are. And other people don't have that same opportunity.
Now you're speaking Tim's language.
Hey, how's it going, Print Freaks? Think about getting into podcasts at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair because I get the feeling very similar to what you're saying is that there's so many people watching this industry and obviously have FOMO. A lot of people making career changes, which is awesome. Like go where the trends are heading. But I think the problem is people have more FOMO about the money than they have about the opportunity. And that obviously that's not good either.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people, to Anand's point earlier, think that this is a quick game and it's where people are just getting rich overnight. And there are definitely people who are getting rich overnight, but that is not the majority. There's a lot of people who have been grinding away for years and years and years in sort of relative obscurity and then kind of hit it big. And so, I also want people to be aware of the fact that like, yes, this is a place where you can sort of create generational wealth and change the outcome of your life and the lives of the people around you. But it does take a lot of A, foresight, and a lot of patience to be able to like actualize those things.
Yeah, because in my experience, and this is going to sound a little cheesy, if you think about like 12, 13 years ago, when most of my friends from college and the people I was close with right after college moved to San Francisco and got into technology. And every weekend I would go up to hang out with them. I'd come home and be like, they're thinking about the world in a much different way than I'm used to hearing down here in LA and the business people I talk to. And what was so inspiring about people in technology back then is they actually were trying to reimagine how things work, and they didn't believe rules existed. It's the way Uber was created, Airbnb, and all these companies. And that, if that's exciting to you, then you should go into this space. But chasing money, you're not going to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Depends on the boat.
Depends on the jet ski and the Zoom connection in that area of Italy.
And the temperature of the water
those
where you're jet
conversations-
skiing.
Big difference.
I mean, I know Mr. Exit is talking to everyone in the industry, and I'm sure he walks away from like the dinner he was probably at last week like, holy shit, I wasn't thinking about this. That's interesting. It's a whole new way to think about things.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I'm like generally a very antisocial person and don't choose to be around people if I can avoid it. But I do force myself into those situations because, just being able to absorb through osmosis, just kind of different perspectives around the world, especially people. I'm sort of lucky in the sense that a lot of the people that I've talked to have been doing this for, call it 10, 20, just decades. And so, just being able to be around those people and understanding sort of like the historical context for what the future might hold is really interesting. And if anybody has access to people like that, like everybody in their lives has a friend or somebody who works at Google or Facebook or even something much more innocuous, like whatever, Intuit or something. I think that it's important if you do care about technology to constantly surround yourself by the most forward-thinking people that you have in that regard in your life. And you will start to understand opportunity and where the world is going at a much faster pace. And hopefully that will lead you into like a better spot overall.
Yeah, and I would say even easier way to get yourself surrounded by that. 15 years ago or 10 years ago, it was South by Southwest, sitting in a room at 3 a.m. and hearing all these people talk. Today, it's literally happening on a podcast. You don't even need to be friends with someone on Google and Facebook, because if you live in Bumblefuck and you don't know anybody, like there are some incredible conversations I've heard on podcasts recently where I literally come back and I'm like, fuck, this was good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
you've talked about business breakdowns. Like how incredible of a resource is that?
It's so
You
good.
see how the greatest companies that we're seeing to, like even the Moderna one, that was incredible.
Yeah. Even All In. I mean, those guys do a really good job at just at least making you like think like, oh, this is how people are thinking. That's really interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no matter where you're at, it can get your brain thinking that way. And I think everyone does have, even if you don't have a friend that works at Google, you have friends or you're connected by 2 degrees of separation to people that are thinking ahead of you.
Yeah.
And just being around that is so important.
Yeah.
You know?
Exciting.
There it is. Well, look, we ended with a little bit of motivation. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I didn't think we'd get down there.
I thought the boats were motivating.
Well, I agree, but not to everyone. Some people see that and say,
Some people want to be on a bicycle.
Well, what's
burn
a
them
what's a
down.
weekly charter on like say a 5-bedroomer? $250,000 a week?
Yeah, so it's by length. So I would say like 100 meters, you probably fit 5-6 bedrooms in there. Yeah, $250,000 a week. Actually, no, it's probably $250,000 a week last year. It's probably closer to 300 a week.
So like Magic Johnson was posting from a yacht all summer. How that looked big.
Mil a week.
Million.
A million a week?
Yeah,
Damn,
man.
Showtime.
Jesus.
There you go.
And he wasn't on for 1 week. I can confirm on Instagram.
Yeah, but he also had like Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J on there. He probably got a nice split cost. There are people out there paying that.
You think that he has to?
No, he's not doing group pay.
That's offensive at some point. Isn't he the richest of the group?
Yeah, but a mil a week is still a
Samuel
mil a week.
Jackson. Yeah, what do you
Yeah,
think?
it's like-
Yo, Sammy, I need a
Sammy,
75
come
grand
visit.
from you
Yeah.
this week.
Venmo me. Oh my God. Okay. Did we do it?
Yeah, I think we did it.
Listen, man, thanks for the download. It's always a pleasure. We got to do it more often.
Yes. Well, we're working on something That will soon come out.
Yeah.
It's gonna be exciting.
We're going to do a nice collab together, and I'm excited to share with everybody. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that one's going to be really good. I think it's going to be big.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's a good product.
And we'll do global shipping.
Maybe tie in space. We also ship to space.
We ship to space. We ship to boats.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a surcharge.
Last mile to boats. No one thought about that,
That's
huh?
not a boat. You come out on a jet ski.
DJ Khaled delivers it to you.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys can call it tender.
Good stuff, man. Keep it up. I know sometimes you got to go on a hiatus and collect those exits, but try to make them short.
Yeah.
We miss your presence.
The AMAs are amazing.
Yeah, keep that up. And keep up, telling the next. I'm sure your DMs are full of people trying to find a way to hit gold themselves. So there might be something good there.
And the account, even though it's intended for satire, a lot of great information.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
I really appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
guys.
man.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Thanks for chatting.
Peace.
Oro.
Well, I'm starving at the office.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Snacks
I'm
are
still trying to master how to work in snacks into my work life.
I really don't want a snack because honestly, I don't want to be fat.
But I'm just saying, even like healthy, like, some people grab a couple almonds or stuff like that. I never can seem to do it.
Yeah, so this just ended up in our fridge a few months ago from our friend Brian, and he just put it in there. We're light on snacks in this office. It's like a pandemic in our freaking fridge.
The pandemic hasn't ended in that kitchen. Got it.
And so I look at it. It says, for the hungry, plant-based mini meal. I was like, I'm
Right up your alley.
vegetarian.
Yep.
checks all the boxes.
It checks all the boxes. Mini meal. And it's a chocolate. All things I enjoy.
Yep.
I drink this thing, and I'll be honest, when I usually have stuff like this, I actually get stomach aches from a lot of these protein shakes, a lot of these meal replacement.
Yep.
I drank this, did not have a stomach ache. I was satiated.
Wow.
And I felt great. And I don't like to feel heavy.
16 grams of plant-based protein in this thing.
That's no joke. Only 7 grams of sugar.
Purely vegan, non-GMO, dairy-free.
Yeah.
Maybe it's dairy-free is why also it's easy on the stomach.
Good point. A lot of dairy out there is not good for you.
I agree.
So gluten-free, all the protein, vitamins and minerals, and only 300 calories. This has become my new replacement for lunch.
I like it. This is much easier than trying to carry around a little sack of nuts. Am I right?
Yeah, you are right.
I mean,
I can't even have nuts in my house anymore because one of my kids is allergic to nuts.
Yeah, you can't do it. Say goodbye to nuts.
Yeah.
Say hello to Oro.
These nuts.
Okay.
And how do you find
You should start a company, actually.
How do you find it?
So if you're interested in trying this, which I highly recommend, we obviously have a special offer.
Of course.
Use the code GroupChat20. Head over to drinkoro.com. That's drinkoro.com. Use the code GroupChat20. Get that 20% off and give it a shot. I mean, it's time to get fit.
I agree.
And if you're sick of a sack of nuts in your face all day.
Oh my God.
You may have turned off people who actually like a sack of nuts.
I think you get
Not
the
very
point.
inclusive.
I think you get the point. Say no to the nut sack. Say hello to Oro. Let's get
Drinkoro.com.
back to the episode. All right. Well, back to some news. And we might as well close out with, I think the first thing, we might as well jump straight, while we're talking about boats and yachts and the high life, we might as well keep talking about that sort of topic.
Yeah.
The Met Gala notoriously is, I don't know what, top of the top when it comes to like celebrity yearly extravaganzas.
I think celebrity, power, wealth.
Yeah, more than just celebrity.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's a combination of billionaires who donate
Yep.
to get tables and then the most famous people in the world.
So it's the who's who, as they say.
Yes, it is.
But it looks like we're running into a bit of a problem.
Uh-oh.
It seems like it's no longer the who's who, or maybe the who's who is becoming a little different.
A little younger and cooler.
The crowd is changing. Let me just say there's a lot of people going, I'm a savage, classy, boozy, ratchet. And
Are you referring to TikTokers?
I'm saying I think Bryce Hall is invited this year. I don't know.
Addison Rae is definitely invited. That's one of the rumored guests. The other rumored guest is Emma Chamberlain, 20-year-old, also huge on YouTube.
Huge.
And I think what's pissing people off is that these people are
Lower
infringing
tier, they
on
feel?
the A-listers.
So the snobs are like, that's not up to our level.
Well, what's interesting is like, this is no different than when the Kardashians or Jenners were invited probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or Paris Hilton. And everyone was like, they let the reality stars in.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, we talk about it all the time. From a relevant standpoint and cultural zeitgeist, like these are it.
But it would seem that there's a trend happening of like the talent level is decreasing over time.
Well,
it depends what you define talent as. Identifiable skill or just pure fame?
Well, yeah, I'm saying identifiable skill.
what talent? So you're saying like an actor had
Skill.
I feel like we're also redefining what skill is. Because to a 12-year-old, Addison Rae is way more skilled than name some actress that's really big.
Okay, so let me just say this, because I'm not willing to fight that fight because I don't actually care. Like, meaning I don't actually, like, I'm not actually frustrated by it. But do you think that that is the problem with the old school stars? They're saying, first it was Kim Kardashian, who has no talent, is famous for being famous.
Yep.
And now you're just moving down and down the line to TikTokers. Are you kidding? They don't even have a TV deal.
So I would guess it's a combination of, if you're an A-list actor, the amount of hell of auditioning, getting denied roles, ups and downs in your career, movies that flop, and you have to battle picking which roles you are going to play and hope that you still stay on top. And then you see Addison Rae become the most famous person in like 18 months.
Yeah, I'd be bitter. You know?
But she did a lot of dances.
Hey, listen, I'm not mad at her.
I'm not mad.
I'm
just saying in the eyes of an A-lister, they're discounting the work.
But I would argue, I think I would probably argue that like a top level actor or actress has more actual hard skill than TikTokers.
But
Like
I guess
Meryl
it's just not getting rewarded.
Yeah. But I'm saying actual, like, I would say people like the Meryl Streeps of the world, like, honed a craft.
Of course, but isn't it the same as like you turn on ESPN boxing on a Friday night?
Yeah.
They're better than Jake Paul. But who's getting rewarded as a boxer?
Well, and boxers are pissed.
Yeah.
So the old guard, pissed. Like, do you know how many hours I spent reading scripts and freaking playing the Hollywood game?
Yeah.
And you're telling me you get to savage dance your ass right into the Met Gala?
That's hot.
No chance.
Do you think the mom goes? Is she got a +1?
Four?
Of course.
Sure.
Of course. I think
No,
the
but
whole
they're
family.
pretty strict, right?
So this
Probably a
year,
+1.
so this year the guest list got cut by 200 people because of COVID restrictions. There's also a lot of people that live in other countries that will not be able to make it too. So it is not going to be the same Met Gala because if you live in Paris or London, you can't even come. So there's going to be a lot of probably who's who that's not going to be able to come. So I think given that, why not make Vogue, Met Gala, just make it more relevant and go get younger.
Pauls or no Pauls?
I mean, if the Pauls
50
get
billion
invited to the Met
impression?
Gala.
50 billion
If you
impressions?
go by pure popularity,
They should
be invited.
Yeah.
At least Logan. I'm just saying. I mean, he has a little bit of a cleaner thing now.
Than Jake.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Why not? Look, I think everything has to evolve. I think the fact that Anna Wintour, who's considered definitely part of the old guard, is like, I should invite these people so we stay relevant, is more on brand or more on trend than what you see in the Oscars and Emmys. When if Addison Rae was announcing every Emmy or the D'Amelios said, and the winner for Song of the Year, the Grammys should be 100% delivered by TikTok stars. They're the ones that made all these songs popular.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess if you're the Met Gala, then there's a balancing act because there is a charity component to the Met Gala. So it's for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute in New York City.
Okay.
So
that's where the money goes?
Yeah.
Yes.
The costume is, what do they do?
Costumes.
Like for Broadway or something? Because this is what I was going to ask you. I felt like maybe I was dumb, but
well, that's why it's a costume themed event every year.
But who benefits from the Met Gala? Like who
Costumes.
Costumes. Got it. Big for Halloween. Got it. Right? I mean, I'm confused. Other than a chance for everyone to show off
So
their outfits
this is what
and how
really
famous they
happens
are.
is that for every ticket sold, 500 kids get a Halloween costume.
Got it. Then bring Addison. Because that's what I'm saying. What is essentially, this is what I want to understand. What's the business model of the Met Gala? And then I could tell you whether my opinion is you should invite TikTokers or not. If the only goal is awareness and eyeballs, then fucking let them in.
Even to raise money.
But it depends on
So
what.
you need donations.
Yeah.
So does Addison and Emma Chamberlain increase your ability to fundraise?
Yeah, you know why? Because the
wonder.
50-year-old billionaire that comes with him and his wife come.
They want the picture to show off to
Their
the
show
kids.
their kids.
It's their kids.
Like, guess who I met?
Yep. And they're like, Dad, if you don't donate to Emma,
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got to control the kids.
I
don't
asked
care about Meryl
people's,
Streep.
I asked names to like the kid, like new guy and all these guys in the office. They don't know anybody.
Like old celebrities.
Like our age celebrities.
It's like that thing that I think Dave Portnoy and like Josh Richards do a like, who is this? Who is this?
Yeah.
And one is from Dave's era and the other's from Josh Richards' era.
Yeah,
And they
and-
never know each other's.
Yeah, and I think that's a real thing is because when we all grew up, we all watched the same channels. We
Yep.
all consumed the same content.
Yep.
So everyone knew who everyone was. He just mentioned something before this podcast, FBE. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Facebook events.
Fine Bros Entertainment.
Exactly.
They do like YouTube.
Sounds like porn.
Teens react to, old people react to.
I mean, LeBron James is irrelevant.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how
He's irrelevant?
just wanted to see how Dee would react. I would throw him in. I'm just saying, Space Jam looked a little light.
I will say,
Yeah.
I stumbled upon an A-list TikTok birthday party last Friday night.
Yeah.
The level of like security on taking photos
Yeah.
was just one level below Chappelle. Like the phone was unlocked, but everything was like covered.
At like a house party.
It was at a,
Oh, you went to one?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Was it? They
Yeah,
were
they-
locking phones. They were.
Yeah, upon entry.
So it felt
sticker
like an
on-
A-list thing. Like
I was like, whoa, they really, I mean, the only time I've ever had my phone taken was Chappelle, where you put it in the Ziploc bag.
So let's say this. You have that disorder where you can't tell faces from faces. You walk into that same party 15 years ago. Are those A-listers?
I didn't recognize one person other than the person whose birthday it was.
But what I'm saying is just the tone of it. Just here's how it goes. Here's the security level. Is that what an A-list party looked like?
The security level, yes.
Yeah.
100%. Like the door was extremely strict. There was tons of security. They made sure no photos. I would say from that perspective, yes. I didn't
So if you don't know
recognize
any of the faces.
anyone.
Yeah.
They're probably half my age.
New guy would have been throwing up signs to everybody.
So I'm guessing like, yo, full send, full send.
FBE.
Full send.
But it's also interesting
Clap
that
gang.
none of the celebrities that I would know who are technically, are they more mainstream or just traditional celebrities? Like
Traditional.
actors, rappers, artists? I didn't see them.
Yeah, there's a divide happening
Yeah.
because they don't fuck with each other.
Yeah.
Here's my other question. If you took a kid from Ohio and you brought, Jason, you might be best to answer this, and you brought him or her out to LA and you somehow gave them access to that party that Anand's speaking about, where the top of the top were there.
Mhm.
Is that equivalent to going to a party with movie stars? Like, is that like, oh my gosh, I can't
Do you know the
even-
Vanity Fair party? Do you know what that is?
Is it the equivalent?
Wait, hold on. Do you know what the
No.
Vanity Fair party is?
I've
for
heard the
Oscars?
name, but I'm not familiar.
Okay. That is the biggest event in Hollywood by far,
Yeah.
right? There's
It's the most
nothing-
exclusive.
most exclusive AAA list. He's never heard of it. So the kid in Ohio definitely has not heard of it. So
Do you
that
even know
means-
about the Met Gala?
No, of course. Yeah. the Met Gala,
Oh, of course. Volunteered there.
I love costume.
Like 10, 15 years ago, if you go to a nightclub in LA and you see Leo, you're like, oh shit, this is like a hot
Yeah,
party.
like this is LA. Like
Yeah.
this is crazy. You might just run into celebrities. Like, is that what people think when they drive down the street and see Emma Chamberlain?
I feel like there's, because the internet, like you said, like there's so much, like before you guys kind of watch the same type of stuff, so you all know the same celebrities. Like I'm sure if I saw Leo, I'd still freak out, obviously, because it's Leo. But like,
You know which Leo we're talking
yes,
about, right?
yes.
Okay.
That's some TikToker. Yeah,
You got the Italian guy on TikTok.
But my thing is like, with the internet, like you said, everybody consumes different content, so you get to pick like what you want. So like what might be the like epitome of culture for someone might not be the epitome of culture for someone else, even if they're like 18, 16 years old.
But do you think like Addison Rae is a celebrity to everyone?
I think at this point, yeah, just because like she's like, you know, buddies with Courtney and everybody or whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel also to a degree like there's people that would die to be in that party that Anand was at. There's also people that are like, I would never be there in a million years.
Got it. But they want to go to the
But it was
face house.
considered a hot party. The person who took me to the party is like, wouldn't have been like, let's go unless there was like a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel old. But
I don't feel old. I think it's just now it's just fragmented what a celebrity is.
I'll tell you why I feel old. It's because I felt like in the old days, celebrities were still like it was still movie stars. It was just there were emerging new movie stars. There's now to me this like break off that happened, and there's internet celebrities, and then there's like old school traditional celebrities. But that's all I'm saying is, and I feel like back to the topic of this story, the traditional celebrities who are used to the old way, because even who they looked up to when they were young were still through the same. You went through the same pipeline.
Yeah.
And you had to go through the thing, and then you became a celeb, and awesome. Now there's this whole new world of these internet celebrities where you're like, no, they're below us.
So this is actually, it's great you bring that up because I told Dee who surrounded the talent.
Yeah.
And it's the same person at a Hollywood nightclub. It's the exact same guy.
Who would be with the A-list?
15 years ago was with the A-listers. So that person
Well, that's just smart.
who we're talking about, who only hangs out with A-listers,
Yeah.
knew that this is the new wave.
This is the
Yeah.
future.
It's really interesting. I wonder what it feels like for your like current but like traditional celebrity. Like, does it feel quiet for them? Is it like relaxing? No one's at their door. No one's.
So
one's
who would
bothering
you
them?
consider like a 25-year-old regular celeb?
Like, I wonder
Traditional.
what's going on now versus 10 years ago for Zac Efron.
Like when he leaves his house?
Can he just go to Ralph's? No one's really
Nah,
tripping.
he can't go to Ralph's. He's still Zac Efron.
I don't know. Maybe they're like, oh my God, is that Bryce Hall? No.
I think paparazzi is still following those people because they're still
No story.
What's the story?
It's no story.
I don't know. I mean, I look at Daily Mail. I see Zac Efron all the time.
Is he?
Yeah.
The big story was Bryce Hall making out with Josie Canseco.
Well,
That was the story.
I feel like she's been involved with another TikToker. Or was it Paul? One of the Pauls.
Logan Paul.
wow.
Yep.
See, we know.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Well, either way, Met Gala, the elites are pissed.
Okay. Let them be pissed.
The TikTok is one step too far.
Okay.
Next up, we have some bad news. I don't know. I feel like, we do a lot of work with people in retail and pay very close attention to what's going on at retail. And we've been hearing actually a lot of really good news. I think ever since like vaccine time, probably spring, the floodgates kind of opened and retail was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like, is that maybe coming to an end? Or, the data's not too good.
So retail sales in July were actually down, which is obviously very surprising.
Surprising. Is that Delta starting to hit? What's happening?
So when you look at the breakdown, like restaurants, hospitality, all was up significantly. You did see a dip at like online retail and some traditional retail. I think we're just on a rampage of spending for the last 18 months. And last year, it wasn't that big of a deal to comp up from last year.
Mm-hmm.
But these are like, in some cases, people are up 50% from 2019.
Yeah.
So I think things got out of control. Obviously, that's stimulus, all the inflation and all
Freshly
the asset class.
Yeah.
And so we saw this like rush to spend money in the last 6 months. So I think you expect to cool down. I think the other thing that people, and we just talked about this before the podcast, there are serious supply chain constraints. Anand just went to Target, said the shelves are empty. Yeah. You can't get anything. It's very, very difficult to make anything right now.
It's going to be an interesting holiday.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said a few months ago, like, you better get little Timmy and Melanie's Christmas gift right now. Right now. Because come December 20th, there ain't going to be shit to buy.
Just buy them NFTs. It's unlimited.
He's like, hey, Timmy, Jimmy, look at this JPEG.
Timmy, Jimmy.
Make your own. Put it on a USB and be like, here's a cyberpunk. I made it in Microsoft Paint.
So I don't think Delta's the cause, if I had to guess. Because I don't know, do you, other than your 2 weeks of out of commission, which was just a little.
Just saying. I wasn't shopping.
Exactly.
But there's millions of people that had that.
Yeah,
cold,
you
though.
might
That
be
was-
right. Yeah. I mean, because if I just had to gauge the temperature of what I feel like that's going on in our backyard in LA, post Delilah Vegas, Delta was rampant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still rampant. Everyone's getting it still.
It's
And-
higher than ever.
But there was a lot of fear.
Yeah.
I feel like even among our own social circles and our friends and family, like, oh man, this is back. We got to take this like up to a level 10 of seriousness again.
Yeah.
I generally feel, I don't feel that same fear we had 4 weeks ago.
So I just want to propose, I think that's our bubble.
Okay.
I think people are a little freaked out.
I'm definitely not doing what I did 4 weeks ago. 100%. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, you're.
But
I
like
was
my
out
parent, I'm
way
talking
more.
like in my parents' like area and stuff like that. Like if you hear about old Susie down the street who had 2 fresh shots of Pfizer and came up with Delta, you're like, no chance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I feel like a lot of people were just getting their legs back and like, all right, let's head out to Target. And it's scary, I think. That's also my guess.
Yeah.
But I do think I would see it. If you told me that was purely the effect of the 1.1% drop in retail, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Until they figure that out.
I mean, I remember when we got back from Vegas, Dee said he's never going again. 4 weeks later, he's in Vegas.
He can't stop.
Yeah.
He tries to be
Yeah,
scared,
I'm
but he can't.
unstoppable.
Yeah, he's unstoppable.
He just said, I'm not doing things.
No,
He
no,
just
no.
literally went
He
to
has
Vegas.
little moments of clarity, you know, and then he's just like, wow, fuck it.
But would we have gone to the Clippers playoff game, 17,000 people in the arena?
Did we go to that?
We did. Went to the playoffs.
You're saying, would you with Delta?
Yeah.
Was I there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there.
I
You
don't
made an
remember.
announcement to
not
the
stopping.
TikTokers.
Yeah, you made an announcement. We talked about fighting and stuff. There weren't any.
I literally can't remember this.
The Revolve crew had a box.
Oh,
we
yeah,
had seats.
yeah. We were, yeah.
See, you've been going so hard. You
Yeah.
don't even remember. This is like peak summer.
Yeah, because I was going out every 4 days.
Yeah.
That was, I think, what is it, May or June?
But I bet you if you could have data on D, for instance, who's a pretty outgoing dude, I would say your time out has probably dropped.
Drastically.
Amount of hands shaken in July.
Yeah. I definitely, I would say in the last few weeks, the amount of times I went out to eat.
And let me
or
be
did all
clear,
that-
my gauging of the temperature isn't based on cases, just the way I feel people are moving out and about.
I agree. I just think that's how our crowd feels.
Yes.
I think our crowd is a little bit more like, look, we're vaxxed. It's not that bad if you do get it. I'm going to go live. I think in like the country, people are nervous. And I think like, look, all these like vaccine passport things being put into effect in New York, and you're hearing the occasional story of people getting really sick from Delta. Also think about all the people that never got vaxxed that might feel a little bit more sketched. I just think it would sort of depress the action a little. 1.1% makes sense.
So as of, I think, yesterday or today, the vaccine proof is live in New York to go to bars, restaurants, museums.
Is it digital or can I take my card?
So you have to, they have the equivalent of what Raman's company, Healthvana, in New York that they've contracted out. So you have to go on their site.
Show your card.
And no, you
Download
register whatever date you took your appointment and your birth date, name, and you get your passport. I have a friend who did it, got it
It's
within
not
30
called
seconds.
passport.
I'm just
Sorry.
in a real pickle here because I don't think my second one got registered.
Have you not gotten your passport? Or
I have my
record?
So here's what happened. I got my physical card signed both times. You're done. But after the second one, they started texting me with an auto text saying, you missed your second appointment, reschedule.
Maybe that's why you were scared of COVID, because you didn't get the second shot.
Listen, I'm not trying to have my DNA altered.
But, and then I got a notification today that in Los Angeles, even outdoor sporting events, so football is starting in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and anything over 10,000 people, indoor or outdoor, need a mask.
I mean, zero chance, right? Because you can't police that. No one's fucking doing that.
I mean, they're not stopping the fights, so.
You're not stopping the fights. You're talking hand-to-hand combat. All you need is 4 security guards. You're going to police 10,000 people.
Oh, no, it's way more. The Rams Stadium was 70,000 people.
It's over 50.
There's
I
just
think.
no way. I even feel like out and about here, like certain stores and stuff are pretty diligent about it, but most people aren't wearing masks.
Are they? I see everyone with a mask.
I don't know. I've been in a lot of elevators. I mean, I live in a building, up and down elevators, all that stuff. There's signs everywhere. Not one mask.
But it's a younger crowd.
It's a younger crowd. Yeah. But I just think, look, that's just a fantasy land. You're not.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially 50, 60,000 blacked out people screaming, "Go
Yeah.
Rams, go Bucks, go Cowboys."
I mean, I'll be really honest. We were supposed to wear masks the whole flight to New York and back, and I didn't. I mean, wheels up, my mask was off. No one said a word to me. I'm just saying, I did come back with a cold, so there you go. But no one, they didn't police it on a plane with, because everyone's like putting it down or whatever. As I cough. What did you say?
Bad timing.
I know. Did you say you had a story to share?
Yeah, I had a. We'll end before our shout outs on a funny story. So, Anand last week was like, I was asking him, I'm like, do you know someone who could like teaches boxing or whatever? And he's like, oh, I have my trainer. Why don't you come to the house?
Mm-hmm.
So he got his trainer and I joined. It was on Monday morning. We finished the workout. I bring Dominic and my mom's there too. So he's playing. We finished the workout, going to the car, to the street. And I have like 2 water bottles, a coffee, my asthma inhaler, car keys, Dominic's stuff. And while I'm putting him in the car, I put it all on the roof of the car.
Oh, no.
And I buckle him up. I grab the stuff, toss it in the car, and I take off.
Oh, I thought you pulled off with that without all on the roof.
So I take off. I go like maybe 6-7 blocks, turn left on a bigger street, and then I'm now riding on, Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I see a thing. It says remote,
Oh, no.
not present.
Like
And
your
I'm-
key.
Like my key. And I was like, oh my God, it was on the roof. So I immediately pull over. Bad idea.
Bad idea. Don't stop.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're supposed to go until you're parked, and then it turns off, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I parked the car. It's a very busy street, by the way. Parked the car on the side. Dominic's in the back. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, Daddy has to look for something. I go look, open. I'm looking around. I go out.
Does the car shut off?
Shut off instantly.
So the moment it stops, it shuts off?
Yeah, like 10 seconds later, it was shut off.
So if you're at a long red light, it would shut off?
No, if you put your car in park.
Oh, park.
I believe that's the thing.
Got it.
Yeah. So I put the car in park. Thank God I was at least pulled over. And I'm looking frantically for this key. Like maybe it's there. I'm like, it's gone. I definitely left it on the roof. I lost it. It's gone.
Oh, my gosh.
First thing I call Anand and his wife and my mom. I'm like, hey, can you look in front of the house? Is my key there? And they're like, no, it's not there. And I told them my path. So they're like, all right, we'll go get our car and go look for it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're looking for it.
So
Dominic,
first we walked 3 full blocks and no car keys in sight.
I mean, if it's not there, it's gone.
So
right?
then we had to walk back,
get the car.
get the car, and continue
And what, you're
on the
driving
path.
down the road, like
Yes,
looking in
Yes.
the...
So let me tell you before we get to what happened. Dominic at this point, he's like crying.
Yeah.
We're never gonna leave. We're stuck. We're never gonna leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, this is bad.
Yeah.
And the car stops, so there's no air conditioner. The fucking windows won't come down. So now it's hot. It's so hot in there. I literally give him my phone. I'm like, listen to something, watch, whatever. So then they're looking. I'm giving them a route. I call my wife and I was like, hey, we have a little bit of a situation here.
Yeah.
And she's like, why the hell was your key on the roof? I'm like, great question. Not time to answer that question right now. Can you come on down? So she's driving. They call me back and they're like, all right, we're driving down this street. And I was like, cool, that's where I was. They find it. So the good news is we found the key. Bad news is
It was ran over.
it was ran over.
It was in the middle of the road,
It was in the middle of the road. Car after car was just pummeling the key.
so it's done.
So then they come, give me the key, and I'm like pressing. I mean, this thing is destroyed.
How far from the house was it? Just curious.
So to the key? No. Quarter mile?
Okay.
But to where
That's
I
a
was.
pretty long time, though. I would imagine, like, right on your pull-off.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a couple turns
Yeah.
before.
if
Couple
I were to
accelerations
design a
for
car, I would design it so the key can stay.
With like a rubber tray.
Yeah, bumper.
Yeah.
So that, if you accidentally do this, you can protect your key.
I agree.
So then finally they give me the key. Obviously, this key is not working.
Okay.
It's toast.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and because I told Dominic, oh, the key's here. So he was excited, and it's not working. And then he's just like,
Like, you lied to
this is
me.
it.
This
We're
is
going to live
the
here.
apocalypse, yeah.
And this is our entire life is just living on the side of this car
Yeah.
in the middle of a busy road.
Yeah.
And then finally, my wife comes with the spare key and we go. But I was just like, and this is Monday morning. I was like, this is going to be one hell of a week.
Yeah. That's a rough start. At least Dom got back to his life,
He got to regain
his garbage truck.
Cost us an hour and change.
Yeah.
Easy.
So you took everything but the key? All right. Well, there you have it. Nice to end on a good story.
Yeah.
Do we have shout outs?
Yeah. We have I have 2 shout outs.
Okay.
Well, first it's
Shout
Tim's
out to Anand.
birthday.
We have a very special shout out for Tim.
Oh, wow.
That's why he's
I would
looking so
have brought you a
fresh.
present, but it's not very socialist. Instead, I gave it to a few people down on the way here.
That's fantastic. That's all I could ask for.
What does
Happy
a young
meeting.
socialist do on his birthday?
I think I'm going out tonight.
Wow.
You're too hot to stay in.
So you're spending money.
Yeah. Come meet me in West Hollywood. Woo!
Where are you going? Let's hear the plan.
I don't know. Probably the Abbey.
Are you picking one of your favorite bays, or are you just gonna go see what you find out there in the world?
We'll see. We'll find out. I might just go out. We'll see.
Do you have a reservation anywhere, or are you just winging it?
No, just winging it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd that tennis date go?
Went well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the ending?
Sex.
Ended back at her place.
Ooh.
She has a trampoline.
Wow.
Little
Oh.
trampoline time, little bouncing.
Oh.
Do you and your crowd aren't worried about COVID? You're just raging at the Abbey.
Socialists
No, I
don't
don't
care
care.
about viruses.
Are they wearing masks at the Abbey?
No. No. But you need the health fauna thing or your
Oh, you do.
to get in.
Oh, not even just a negative test, the actual proof of vaccine.
You need the proof of
Oh,
vaccine.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
then you don't wear
Okay.
mask in there.
That's
Because
fine.
I've driven by that area a few times and they're raging.
Oh, they're raging.
Yeah.
That Rocco's is popping.
Pop.
That Rocco's is out of control.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Might go to Rocco's.
All right, well, shout out to Tim. Happy birthday, man.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
Yeah.
turning 24, right?
24.
Look at you. Just young and full of dreams
And trampolines.
and trampolines. Nice.
Interesting. That's how they end a date. We actually have a
Started the day.
trampoline with Dominic jumping on the trampoline.
See, it all comes full circle.
Yeah, we start the
you
day
go.
with the trampoline. He ends the day with the trampoline.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's all the same.
Different use
And I
cases.
still got my car keys.
Good for
But
you.
we'll see after tonight.
Okay, what do we got?
I got our guy Liam Kavanagh out in London, England, also turning 24 on August 18th. And he was just saying he going through his first rough patch as an entrepreneur and enjoys the pod to kind of get through those tough times. And he actually started his business during the pandemic, and he reached out to us and to give us a heads up on that. So congrats, and you'll be fine, bro. You're 24.
Yeah, don't worry.
You got full of life.
This is all part of the process.
Exactly. And then we have a new podcast that's launching. We're going to give a shout out to them. Great name, Samosa Chat.
Okay. Chaat is an Indian snack.
Yeah. So
And samosa is also an Indian snack.
yeah. So it's
So 2 snacks.
2 snacks.
2 snacks.
So 2 chains, 2 snacks.
2 snacks.
And so they're launching their podcast on August 18th. It's creating a pod and
That's
community
tomorrow.
for 2nd and 3rd generation South Asians in the US and UK. And they have one of their founders that are in LA. And he's going to start coming to run clubs. So he says his name is Sohel. And he's ex-Stripe and happy to talk payments. We like talking about payments.
Nice.
X-Stripe means he collected some equity.
That's what he's
referencing
podcasting.
Yeah.
from our original conversation.
That's how you can afford to have such a niche podcast.
Yeah, just like a snack.
Yeah, you're like, whatever. It's me and my fellow snack. Just a couple of snacks. All right, well, happy birthday.
No, happy
podcast.
podcast.
Happy podcast launch. Sorry.
Happy snacks.
So launching tomorrow, launching Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Snack it up.
Congratulations, guys.
There you go. Is that it?
That's all I have. Anything else?
I have another shout out from DJ Mama Hugo.
Ooh.
Okay.
Longtime Kathy here, reaching out to see if I could get a shout out on the pod. During COVID last year, I launched my DJ career by putting out workout mixes, and it's grown into getting booked for actual gigs. I got to play on the radio for the first time ever last week on Pitbull's Sirius XM station.
Nice.
Anywho, I wanted to reach out because D has been a huge influence in why I got the guts to just go for it and follow my passion. I call myself the #1 fitness DJ in the world, modeled after Dee, who is the #1 most luxury influencer in the world.
Wow.
That's true.
Thanks
Factual.
for your time. And she included a radio mix. And she says, if you have Sirius XM, she'll be on the radio again tomorrow at 8 p.m., Wednesday, August 18th.
Good for you. Way to really make it happen in a tough time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Inspired
so
by
shout out.
Dee.
I love it.
Look at that.
Congratulations. Is that it?
Is that all we got?
Yeah.
And shout out to Pan Capitalist. New episode coming at you tomorrow.
Wow.
Is that true?
We recorded a couple weeks ago. I guess Tim was too caught up in the birthday celebration.
Tim's too busy
Takes a
just
little while to
banging.
edit.
Yeah, he's too busy fucking.
Damn.
When he said that, I
Man.
actually kind of forget what we even talked about. So I
Yeah.
hope it's good.
Oh
It's
my
crypto.
gosh,
That's
man.
right.
Crypto.
Loser antisocial Tim was so much more productive.
Yeah.
This Tim that's just rolling in the sex
Yeah.
can't get anything done. Just kidding. Congrats, Tim. Happy birthday, man. You deserve it. That's it. Thank you guys for listening. We will talk to you on Thursday.